Today, we're going to look at Major Motors, or General Motors, the campaign on Tunnel Through the Air on page 197. So you can find this novel online, and you'll know that we're doing a series on decoding GAN, or decoding tunnel. A couple of things that may have given you the aha moment that he was talking about present day or actual assets would be Major Motors, which is actually General Motors, and Major Electric, which is actually General Electric. Do you see the military theme? All right. Anyways, we go to page 197, and we can see with great importance in all capitals Robert Gordon's campaign in Major Motors. All capitals. It must be important. So what I do is I right click, I copy it, I put it into the Pythagorean numerology calculator, and I hit decode. I come up with 195, which is pretty close to the page that we're on, which is 197. It could be a number in between. It could be a decimal. It could be 19 point something. We don't know. But we do notice that Robert Gordon made a great discovery of a time factor. He also knew that Major Motors was going to be 19 years old, or around there, I guess. And he basically sells on GM's birthday, estimating that it would be up around 270. 270 seems to be an important number as well because it's part of a circle. So as you take notes, you keep writing down things that may trigger, and like Major Motors. Is that General Motors? Question mark. Page 197. What does that mean? Is it 1 times 97? Is it 19 times 7? Is it 19.7? Is it just 19? Is it 1 plus 9 plus 7? What does that reduce to? Etc. Excuse me. And so, anyways, stuff like that. You'll open up your Astrolog and you will put the date. So, what was the first date? June 19th. So, let's go back to June 19th. And if you're looking at my jump rate, animate, the jump factor is 4 units and the jump rate is 4 hours. That way I can do multiple moves within a day. And we can see around June 19th, we see the moon on Geo is at 240 degrees with the sun and the node. I wonder why that's happening. We would write down, what could this be? Write down a potential clue here, right? And we go over here around June 29. Could it be another lunar? We don't know. We go down here and go to June 29. 7, 8, 9. And we're looking for some sort of confluence. We go back and forth and we notice that there's a conjunction of the sun and the moon near the lunar node. What does that mean? We've got to do some research on that. And on June 30th, he forecasts a major bottom, and he ends up buying at 192.50, which seems like a very strange price. I don't know if he bought at market or whatever, but what happens? Where are we here? Yeah, what happens on June 30th? Well, if you know how Gann counts, he always counts the next day as one, following an anchor date, an event or something. Let's say it was a full moon. The full moon is not day one. The following date is when he starts counting one. Then the next date, two, etc. And then he'll look for squares, right? 3, 9, etc. So we go on Astrolog, and I mean, there's nothing. The day before, why is this not going? There we go. The day before, there is an event. We need to figure out what that event means. Odds are most of you already know. All right, so June 30th, he buys at 192.50. We go over to the square of 9. Where is 192.50? Right here. I didn't put the date, so forget all the planets and everything. But 192.50, somewhere between, I might even say round up to 193. Okay. And on July 15, he starts his pyramiding at $204. So we would go over to Astrolog and we would go to July 15. Let's zing, zing, zing. July 15. Whoa, what just happened there? Interesting. An opposition on the 14th between the moon and the sun could mean something. Maybe it doesn't. It could be a confirmation. Maybe it isn't. But, anyways, he buys at 204. So, what's the difference between the two dates? Is there a significance? We don't know. We go on the square of 9 and we find that as we go, we find 204 is actually sitting on one of the cardinal angles of the cardinal cross. I'm like, interesting. I wonder why he would have done that. Then on his next purchase at July 21, we go forward on Astrolog to July 21, and we have another aspect. In fact, there's two aspects. One between the moon and the node, another one between the moon and the sun. What could that mean? Well, this is a quarter, so odds are this is probably the final quarter to the moon. Might mean something, maybe it doesn't. But he ends up buying 21. He ends up buying at 214. We go on the square of 9 and try and locate 214. Okay, he bought on the cross. He didn't buy on this 45. He bought here. Well, what is the connection between 214 and 204? The only thing I see is maybe $10. Maybe he pyramids every $10. And that gets confirmed on July 26th. He adds another $10 to the price and he buys higher at 224. So we go and we see we passed 218 and 224 is right here. And then on August 5th, as the price keeps going up, he raises his stop to 225. Well, that's interesting because 225 is on the 45 here, and it's almost the price here is almost 180 degrees away from the original price. And as price passes, he sees that as a potential support level. So he puts his stop at 225. And we go to August 20. I guess I should go see each price here. So he raises stop August 5th. Let's go to August 5th. Oh, August 5th. There's something interesting about this angle. I could swear we've seen this before. Yeah, I could swear we've seen that before. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat today. And then August 6th, we don't have it on here, but I just made a notation here that Saturn was retrograde and actually goes direct here on around August 6th. So you'll want to punch that up as well. August 8th, we see coming up past a square. The 7th is Jupiter trine. And on the 8th, we see another 120 degrees to the sun. Interesting. Um, I mean, this has nothing to do with the phases of the moon, right? The phases of the moon are all quarters. So, what could this possibly mean? Is it because the sun is in Leo and the moon is in Sag? Is it the 120? Excuse me. And we're fast approaching 180 degrees of the node. You have to write all this stuff down and try and crack his code. All right. So, we're at August 8th. And that is actually where the stop loss was hit, which was 225. So it got up to 228 and then came down, and the stop loss got hit and it started to go down. And he figured it would go down to the next support level. So if we're on the 45, the next support level would be down here at 218. And lo and behold, that's on the cardinal angle. Very interesting stuff, this square of 9. What else here? Place a stop at 225. Right. So on August 12th, he buys at 218 right here, and he places a stop at 212, which is just before 211. So right here, he places a stop. So he buys at 218, stop at 212, which is just before the 45 degrees. Interesting resonance here. And if I mean, we can fast forward. You can look at all these dates on your own because I'm burning through a lot of time here. But you can see that he starts to pyramid again at $10 increments. So it must be that he pyramids at $10 increments. Who knows? So we go 218 right there. Then he buys at 228 right there. And then he buys at 238. Where are we? Right there. Change that to yellow, the second campaign. And then at 248, which is right here. Um, then he raises his stop to 243. Where is 243? It doesn't really follow the same suit of what we thought about over here, but there may be a percentage between this and this, or an angle. And then let's see, he raised the stop to 253. Did I put the wrong one? I put 243, sorry. Off. 253, right here. Okay, this is interesting. This is actually 360 degrees from the original uh, pivot low. So that could be one of his rules. We don't know this. And then on the 14th, we'll just zoom on ahead to the 14th, September 14th. 11, 12, 13, 14. So there doesn't seem to be anything significant here. It may be with regards to something else, but the final high was actually GM's birthday at 19 years of age. And he said that it would go to, or should advance to 270, and it actually goes to 272. So he's off by $2. What's the percentage of 270 over 272? Do the math, see if you can figure something out. 272 is right here, just before a major resistant level of this 45-degree angle again. So by noting all of the dates that is in the novel, write down all the dates. There's a reason why he put all this stuff in here. Nothing's filler. and write it all out. Write down notes on what the function was. The major low was June 30th. The major high was September 16th. Look at the price points. Look on the square of 9. Look at the angles between the square of 9. Look at planets and the angles between the relationship of all of them. Look at what potentially could be happening, and continue on to decode. But this is basically how you try and crack this code. Once you crack the code, or once you think you have the code, go back, pick an asset that may be vibrating the same, and see if you can apply the same rules. Does it work? Does it not work? If it doesn't work, you haven't cracked the code. You got to go back again. My understanding is that, oops, oh, I lost it. 160, 197. Where are you? 197. Much speculation has been said that this is actually Gann's master time factor. So then you got to start thinking about, okay, 19 years old, what cycle, what what factor of 19 could potentially be um, deciphering this factor that everybody is looking after, this master time factor. Over here, he just said discovery of a time factor, not the master time factor, but it could be the master time factor. The fact that page 197 and Robert Gordon's title here plays out close to 197, but not quite, could be that the number is close, but not quite the number. Maybe it's not 19. Maybe it's a little over 19 or a little less than 19. Is there a cycle that is a little more or a little less than that? Than the cycle that's playing out here? And is there a relationship between the square of 9 and that cycle? There is one. I'm not going to get into it. But once you discover that, you may start to see resonance with regards to how that plays out and with the square of 9. For instance, the difference in price between one price point and date and another price point and date, there may be a number of degrees between the price point, the date, or an aspect that matches up, or they may be within aspect of each other. My point is, let's say, let's say 204 is 90 degrees from 218, and the number of days that happen between these two prices are 45. Well, it's a 1/2 harmonic of that, right? So there's some resonance there. Or it could be that, 204 is 90 days from the price. Well, then it's a 1-to-1 ratio of price and time on the square of 9. There's not necessarily $90 or 90 points between the price, but the fact that it's 90 degrees from the square of 9 shows resonance with 90 days, right? It could also mean this could be squaring out with, I don't know, say Jupiter is a slow mover. The moon, it could be that, the moon traveled 90 degrees. So, in relation to the sun, so it would be a quarter moon, but you don't know that. You've got to rule out all of those functions. Once you start doing that is once you start decoding a lot of Gann, and I think that's about it. Oh, look at that. It's like clockwork. 20. All right, we'll end it there. Try stuff out and see how you get on. Trade safe.